A very good morning to all the students of class 11th political science. And students, we were doing the second chapter of your new revised syllabus, and the chapter's name is election and representation. And we had already finished three parts of this chapter, and today we are going to do the fourth part in this video. But let's take a short revision of the topics which we had covered in the last lecture, and it was all regarding the proportional representation system, in which we saw the two variants of proportional representation, one which is followed in Israel and Netherlands, and the other variant which is followed in the other countries like Argentina and Portugal. And before that, we had already understood the FPTP system, which is used in India for the general elections of Lok Sabha as well as assembly elections of every state. So today, by that last lecture of, that is part third, we were studying about proportional representation system. We had read in that in India we have adopted PR system, although I have told that in general elections and assembly elections we use FPTP system only. And we will today study also that why in India, or why India has opted for this FPTP system and not PR system in its original variant, like it's used in Israel or Argentina. So we'll discuss that also. But before talking about the proportional representation, we said in the last lecture that we had studied that in India we have adopted PR system on a limited scale. We are using this PR system also, but on a very limited scale, and that is also for indirect elections, where the members or the people or the citizens do not vote directly in these elections. So the constitution prescribes a third and the complex variation. So if we talk about the PR system, so the constitution of India has prescribed the third and a very complex variation. A word has been used, complex, yes, because it is very complex to understand, but once you understand, it becomes very easy for the understanding relating to this various election systems. So our constitution has opted for the complex variation of the PR system of the elections, and those system is only used for the president, elections of president, vice president, and also for the elections of Rajya Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. Vidhan Parishad here means the states having bicameral legislature, those states which have two houses, okay, because most of the state governments we have a legislature with a single house, but there are few states, 6 or 7 states, where we have Vidhan Parishads. So only for president, vice president, and for the Lok Sabha elections and Vidhan Parishads, we have used this third and the complex or the new version of PR system in India. So in this lecture, we will be studying how does PR work in Rajya Sabha. So we will be taking the example that when we say that we are using proportional representation, that is PR in India also. So how does it work, or how does we elect members of Rajya Sabha through the election and using the system of PR, proportional representation. So let's understand that. C is written a third variant of PR, because two variants we have seen, one is used in Netherlands and Israel, and the other in Argentina and Portugal, and the third one is used in India, and the third one is the single transferable vote system. So this, why we are calling it as a complex system, because in this we use single transferable vote system. So we'll understand what do we understand by single transferable vote system, but before we understand the rest of the things, because this system is followed for Rajya Sabha elections, it means it is a combination of PR is worked out through single transferable vote system. It is followed by Rajya Sabha elections. Every state has a specific quota of seats in Rajya Sabha. Okay, you know that there are 245 members of Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, and it is also called Council of States, because various MLAs elect the members of Rajya Sabha of their particular state. For examples, like in Bihar, out of 245 members of Rajya Sabha, we have to elect 245 members. Now how these 245 members are elected, because in the elections of Lok Sabha we are having the direct elections where people vote for their representatives, but these members of Rajya Sabha, that is 245, although 12 are nominated by the president out of this, but still around 233 members are elected by the state. So let's see how these 233 or 245, I'm calling it again and again, so that how we elect them. So like in Bihar we have 16 members members are as the members of Rajya Sabha. From UP 31, from MP 11, Rajasthan 10, from Uttarakhand only 3 members. So how is it possible that how we are dealing that which state will have how many members? So this is possible because we give a quota of seats to a particular state according to the population. Like UP having the maximum population, it is having 31 seats in the Rajya Sabha. So जितनी पॉपुलेशन जिस स्टेट की होगी उतनी ही सीट्स उसको राज्यसभा में मिलेंगी. सो उत्तराखंड इज़ हैविंग अ लेस नंबर ऑफ पॉपुलेशन एज़ कम्पेयर टू उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार और मध्य प्रदेश. तो उत्तराखंड इज ओनली हैविंग 3 सीट्स इन द राज्यसभा. इट मीन्स आउट ऑफ 245 ओनली 3 सीट्स आर इन उत्तराखंड. इट मीन्स व्हेन देयर विल बी अ इलेक्शन फॉर इलेक्टिंग द मेंबर ऑफ राज्यसभा इन उत्तराखंड, वी विल हैव दैट इलेक्शन फॉर 3 members only. But here also we have to remember all the 3 member election cannot be held all together because मैंने एक चीज़ और बोली है that Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. It means it does not dissolve like Lok Sabha dissolves after 5 years, that is after the end of their tenure. But in this there is a system where every year there is the number of members who retire. Every 6 years the member who retire, 1 by 2 members are retire and 2/3 members stay in the Rajya Sabha. It means it's a cycle. Some of them keep retiring and some of them keep electing. So some are always present in the Rajya Sabha, some retire, some get newly elected. So there is a cycle, and that is why this house is called permanent house. So we'll take the example here. Every state has a specific quota. That is why this specific quota means सब states का quota fix है that राज्यसभा में कितने members उनके होंगे. So for Uttarakhand it is only 3, for UP it is 31, from Bihar it is 16. Like this, if we count the total numbers, it will come up to 245 of all the states. The members are elected by respective state legislative assemblies. Now these 3 members, for example of Uttarakhand, it will be elected by the member of legislative assemblies of Uttarakhand. जो उत्तराखंड की गवर्नमेंट है, जिनको हमने इलेक्ट किया थ्रू डैट वोट, दे विल इलेक्ट द 3 members that which will be the 3 members will go to Rajya Sabha. The voters are the MLAs in that state. Every voter is required to rank candidate according to her or her preference to be declared the winner. A candidate must secure a minimum quota of votes which is determined by a formula. Now all the MLAs in a state particular, like for Uttarakhand I am taking the example, all the MLAs will vote for electing 3 members, and the system of voting will be they will give a preference. It means there will be a single electoral or ballot paper. In that ballot paper there will be name of 3 candidates, and we have to give preference according to the rank, like number 1, number 2, number 3. Suppose this is A member, B member, C member, and according to me I think B should be the first member, so I will rank him 1, I will rank him suppose 2, and I am ranking him 3. In the same way all the MLAs will vote. This is the ballot paper, and then at the last all the ballot papers will be collected, and when we will see that which member has got a first rank, he will be given the first position. Okay, but for that there is a quota. There is a fixed quota that how much votes every candidate should get. There is a fixed quota, and that is carried out by following a formula. Like in FPTP system, what happened that we just saw that whoever got the highest number of votes was being elected. We thought that he's the winner. But in this system PR, which is using the single transferable vote, in this we cannot say that the person who is getting the highest vote or the highest percentage of vote is being elected. But here we have to achieve a benchmark, and that is the minimum quota of votes we have to achieve that. So it is carried out by a formula. Let's talk about that formula. Suppose this is the formula actually carried out to find the. So according to the formula, as we are taking the example of Rajasthan here, and as I said, Rajasthan has 10 seats, but at a time we have just 1 by 2 members of election held in the state legislative assemblies to elect the members of Rajya Sabha. So we have to do the elections for 4 members. That is total votes. It means 200 MLAs are there in the Rajasthan legislative assembly, and we have to elect 4 members, and according to the formula we have to plus 1, and here also 1. So 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, 5 4 जा 20. It means ये 5 हो गया, 5 4 जा 20, it means 40, and this one is equal to 41 votes. It means in a way to be elected as a member of Rajya Sabha, each member out of these four will have to get the at least 41 votes. So like in FPTP system we had, where we just had to get the majority of votes, maybe only 25% or only 35%, but if you had the highest number of votes you are being elected. But in this, that is PR system, according to single transferable vote, you will have to get the 41 votes of the benchmark. At least you have to cross this post. If you are not able to get to up to this post, you cannot be elected. So that is why, if in case any member of these four candidates who is not able to get to the mark of 41 votes, in that case we have a system which we use as single transferable vote. Now let's see, if one member was able to get 41 votes, he is being elected as a member, but the other members, some have got 39 votes, some have got 35 votes, maybe some have got 38 votes. So now how they will be the member of Rajya Sabha, as they have not got the 41 votes? And it is important because we have calculated according to the formula, and this is going to be different for every state and in every season. We'll have to see how many members we have to elect and how many members are there in the legislative assembly as the MLAs. So let's see now single transferable vote, how it works. When they are not able to get the minimum quota which is required to be the member, then what is done? So with the help of a single transferable vote, how they are being elected. So you can see the formula: total votes polled, total number of candidates to be elected, plus one, here also plus one. For example, if 4 Rajya Sabha members have to be elected by the 200 MLAs in Rajasthan, so they have given the example of Rajasthan, although they are having this, Rajasthan is having 10 seats, but 1/3 elections कराने हैं हमें, तो only 4 members एक बार में elect होने थे. So the winner would require, so the winner would be required, this formula will put the numbers in this formula. 200 MPs are there, 4 members we have to elect, plus 1, so 40 plus 1 equal to 41 votes everyone has to get. So when the votes are counted, it is done on the basis of first preference vote secured by each candidate. So first of all, we'll see that when this voting is being done, then when it is a turn for counting, we see the first preference vote, किस किस को first preference मिला है, on which the candidate has secured the first preference vote. If after the counting of all first preference votes, the required number of candidates fail to fulfill the quota, and what is the quota? 41 votes. Suppose we have counted a total number of votes based on the first preference, किसको first preference किसने दी है. As I have shown you, एक ballot paper कैसा होता है, ऐसा. There may be many members who are contesting elections for the member of Rajya Sabha, but we have to elect only these 4. Okay, so we will see किसको first preference ज़्यादा मिली है. The candidate who secures the lowest votes of first preference is eliminated, and his or her votes are transferred to those who are mentioned at the second preference on those ballot papers. So now we'll see these two. Suppose they are at the last, so they will be eliminated, and their votes will be transferred to the other members. This it's written here, see, you can see it's a complex in nature, but if you read it carefully, you will be able to understand. Candidate who secured the lowest votes of first preference is eliminated, and his and her votes are transferred to those who are mentioned at the second preference on those ballot papers. Suppose these two are eliminated as they are at the lowest position, but in the same list at the second number his name was there, so this vote will be transferred to this person, and through this transfer of votes maybe he will be able to achieve the required quota of 41 votes. So that is why single transferable vote is used here. This process continues till the required number of candidates are declared elected. Now let's see why India has opted for FPTP. So now we have seen two type of system. FPTP system, generally we have seen how it works. We have seen how it works in India also. We have seen the other system, PR system, which is a very complex in nature. It has two variants, and the third one is followed in India. It is complex in nature. We have seen just now. Okay. So now let's see that why India has opted for FPTP system for the general elections of Lok Sabha and for the state legislative assemblies. So reasons we'll find here. The answer is not very difficult to guess. Okay, if you have carefully read the box explaining the Rajya Sabha elections, you would have noticed that it is a complicated system which may work in small countries, because this PR system is a very complex system, complicated, it may work in a smaller countries, but not with but would be difficult to work in a subcontinental country like India. But it is going to be difficult for India to have this system of PR where there is so much of diversity of various caste, color, languages, religions. So it is going to be a problem with PR, and we'll understand why and how. The reason for the popularity and success of why the FPTP system is have been so successful and popular in India, and we have been contesting elections from the last more than 70 years now after independence with this system. We have been following, and it is very popular. The reason being, it is very simple. It is very simple for all the citizens of India, because we know after independence what was the situation of our country, where major of the population was also uneducated, unskilled, and rural areas. So this system was found to be very simple, although it is not so simple, but it is still, for the voter, it was very simple to understand that he had to vote for a particular candidate, a particular representatives whom he knew very, very well, that this person belongs to his constituency, and this person is going to be accountable to this particular constituency anyhow. So it became easy that if this person gets the highest numbers of vote, he will be elected. He need not to get the majority of the votes or the percentage of the votes. If he has got the highest number of votes in his constituency as compared to the other candidates, he will be elected. So this was a simple system. The entire election system is extremely simple to understand, even for common voters. Even the common voters who are uneducated, they are able to understand the election system in India, who may have no specialized knowledge about politics and election. It means every citizen do not need to have a very specialized and detailed knowledge regarding the political system in India. Like we had discussed today, how PR system works in Rajya Sabha, because that is an indirect election, so we are not connected to that as a citizen directly. It is an indirect election. Suppose, but if every person has to give the Lok Sabha votes or the state legislative assembly votes in this format of PR according to the single transferable voting system, so it would have been difficult to explain to each and every person this formula to get the minimum quota, where we use total votes polled, total number of candidates plus one, bracket close plus one. So all this would have been difficult to explain to each and every citizen in India. So that is why there is no specialized knowledge about politics and election. Everyone can understand FPTP system easily. This is the reason, one of the important reasons for the popularity of FPTP system in India, and why we have opted this. There is also a clear choice presented to the voters at the time of elections. What happens now in PR system, as you know, we have heard about and read about Israel, Netherlands, Argentina, also okay, Portugal. We do not vote for the individuals, we vote for the national parties. So we don't know individually to whom we are voting, and which candidate will be accountable to after they get the majority and they are elected in the government. Because in PR system, all the parties get some percentage of votes, and in the same percentage they get the seats also in the government or in the parliament. So we do not exactly know to whom person we are accountable or who is accountable to us. But in FPTP system, we exactly know. Voters have a clear choice present to voter at the time of election. Voters have a simply indoors, we can have a choice for the candidate also, or for a party also while voting. It would depend on us that we want to vote to a particular party or to a particular candidate. So FPTP system has a wide range of choices, I would say. Depending on the nature of actual politics, voters may either give greater importance to the party or to the candidate, or balance the two. So it is possible with FPTP system. FPTP system offers voters a choice not simply between parties but specified candidates. Same thing which I have explained you. In other electoral systems, especially PR, but if we talk about PR system, voters are often asked to choose a party. They just have to vote for the party. They just have to choose the party, as their whole country is divided into a constituencies, a single constituency or a multi-member constituencies, are elected on the basis of party list, where the party list is being submitted in advance, and after the election those members out of that party are elected for that particular party. As a result, there is no one representative who is responsible for one locality. So after the election, no person as a citizen knows that to whom they have given the vote exactly. They know the name of the party, but the individual they don't know. In constituency based system like FPTP, the voters knows, but in FPTP system every individual knows to whom they have given the vote, and they can hold him accountable, him or her accountable. Like in my region, if are some problem relating to the developmental activities or basic facilities are lacking, I know that which person is accountable and to whom I have given the vote, who was the representative, so they are accountable to us. More importantly, the makers of our constitution also felt the PR-based election may not be suitable for giving a stable government and a parliamentary system. But also, if we would have followed the PR system, our government would have not been stable, and after the independence we needed a very stable government which could finish its tenure, because in PR system all the parties make a coalition government according to the percentage of votes or the proportion of votes which they have got in the election. So the decision making would have become very difficult in a country like India, which was a underdeveloped country, and which was having a lot of economic, political, social crisis. So we wanted to grow fast, so in that this PR system would have not worked properly, where it would have been become impossible to have a stable government in a parliamentary system. We shall study the nature of parliamentary system in the executive in the next chapter. This system requires that the executive has majority. As in India, we know when we follow a FPTP system, we have the majority in the Lok Sabha, and then we form the executive or we form the government. So it becomes easy for the executive to take the decisions, because when they have to pass any resolutions or laws, they have the majority in the this legislature or the Lok Sabha, so they are able to pass various laws. But if it was a system of PR, so the government would have been shared by the proportion of votes by the so many political parties, so decision making would have been difficult. So you will notice that the PR system may not produce a clear majority, because so in PR system there is no clear majority, because suppose out of 100%, 40% seats are with one party, but other 60% of seats are with the other parties, because every party is given the share of seats in the same proportion of votes which they have got in the election when we talk about PR system. But in India, only that party is given the share in the government which gets the majority of the seats. That is, out of 543, they need to have 272 seats to have the government at the center. So the another reason why India has opted for FPTP system, as finally FPTP system encourages voters from different social groups to come. There are various social groups, we know, a lot of diversity. So this FPTP system is always encouraging various groups or the various voters from various groups to come together to win an election in a particular locality or constituency. In a diverse country like India, PR system would encourage each community to form its own nationwide party, because here in PR system, if we had followed PR system in India after independence, so this PR system would have encouraged our communities to form their nationwide parties, and there would be division in India. Already we were having so many problems relating to diversity, but this PR system would have in fact more given a boost, where the society would have been divided into various parties, because in PR system the country is divided into a single constituency or a multi-party constituencies. They may also have been at the back of the mind of our constitution maker. That is why this was at the back of our constitution makers. That is why they did not opt for PR system, they opted for FPTP system. So with the experience of the working of constitution has confirmed the expectations of the constitution makers, the FPTP system has proved to be a simple and familiar, and this has been proved from the last 70 years and more, that the FPTP system is a very simple and familiar to ordinary voters. It can help larger parties to win clear majorities, like in the case of BJP we can see recently it is a larger party and it is having a clear majority. That is why at the center, in the legislature, in the executive, they are having the majority. It becomes easy for them to make decisions. The system has also discouraged political parties that get all their votes only from one caste or community. So in this FPTP system, that political party cannot be a successful party which is only dependent on the particular share of votes on a particular caste or community. After independence, though we adopted FPTP system after independence, there emerged one party dominance. For the continuously 3 general elections, it was a dominance of Congress party. but along with it there existed many smaller parties. Although there were many smaller parties, but Congress was having a dominance at that time. But after that there was a phase of transition, I would say, after 1989, where we started witnessing the functioning in the multi-party coalition, where we saw there were the formation of governments, and that government was a coalition governments. It means a single party was not able to get the majority of the seats in the Lok Sabha, because we have 543 seats, and out of 443 we have to get 272. If a party gets 272 seats in the Lok Sabha election, it means they can form the government. But if you're not able to touch this quota of seats in the Lok Sabha, then we have to make a coalition with the other political parties to get and reach this number to form a government. Okay, so we saw this phase after 1989. At the same time, gradually in many states, two-party competition is emerging. But the distinguishing feature of Indian party system is that the rise of coalition has made it possible for new and smaller parties. But because of the coalition system, now the importance of smaller parties, new parties, and has become important, because these parties are used by the bigger parties for forming the coalition once they don't get the majority. Previously, after the independence, it was very easy for the Congress party, it was having dominance. But after 1989, to get the number of 272 to form the government, this became very difficult. So for this, the various new and the small parties were used, because with the help of new and smaller parties, the bigger parties achieved the target or the quota of 272 seats in the Lok Sabha, and they form the government. So this has been the advantage of FPTP system, where the new parties and the smaller parties are also getting recognition somehow. So these were some of the important factors with that why we have opted for FPTP system after independence. So next topic we will be taking in the next lecture. Thank you so much.